Welcome to the Moonshot Podcast, the podcast where we explore business growth, inspire innovative marketing strategies, and explore the world of company culture. Now here are your hosts, serial entrepreneurs and best-selling authors, James Philip Arbuckle and Kane Carpenter.
How fast do you think you could chug one beer?
Oh, it takes me ages. You know that.
Oh, man. You chug
How
one.
fast can you do one?
Well, I don't know. I ain't done that since I was like 19. But I'm going somewhere with this. Before I mentioned this whole Friday, beer Friday, almost Friday, have you ever heard of them?
Not until you ping the note. No.
So, like, I don't pay a lot of attention to this stuff on social media. My social media is like sourdough, taco trucks, audio equipment, and, American Express seems to like to advertise travel destinations to me. I stumbled up, the algorithm is preying on me. I get served this thing on TikTok of a sign, and it says, $100 to your 20, I can, chug a beer faster than you. So he'll bet 100, you got to put up 20. And I'm like, oh, this should be interesting. And this dude, like, just gulped, and it's, like, gone. Like, I'm not even sure he's got a full esophagus. I don't know where the hell the beer is going. And I just watch him, like, hammering beers. I'm like, this is kind of a cool, interesting play for TikTok. I mean, I could see this really taking off. Whatever, I don't think nothing of it. And then, algorithm pops up a couple more times. His name's Ronnie something, I don't know. But I notice it's like the same beer every time, and it's like Friday beer. And I'm like, did this dude create his own beer company? And then he's this, like, he created his whole thing around a beer company. Never Googled it. And then, like, next time I saw it, I'm like, I'm gonna search this dude up. Or Friday beers. I'm gonna search up Friday beers and realizing it's a beer company, and I'm assuming they sponsor him, or I don't know what the whole thing is there. But I'm like, they're really, like, building this beer brand around content like this. And then it's like, all right, dig in a little deeper. And then I saw they did a funding round for money. What did you see there?
Yeah, 6 million seed. Notably from people like Tim Armstrong, who's the former AOL guy. Who I know he makes a ton of investments in technology stuff.
What about Mark Cuban?
Oh, that's right.
So I'm like,
I don't know how much he put in, though.
I don't know, but I just like, okay, Mark Cuban's on this thing. They did a seed round. They got $6 million. I never heard of these people before. They got 2 million followers on Instagram. I stumbled upon it because some dude was chugging beers, and I'm like, okay, this is, it's another Barstool, right?
Yeah, I mean that was the sorry, a bit loud there. That was the thing that intrigued me was when you brought that up.
And you realize there's probably enough space for 2 or 3 of these people. Barstool started off as something funny, if I remember. I never really followed them. Turned into sports betting.
I think so. Yeah.
Swag, like and it's like, okay, here these guys are kind of doing the same thing, but they got a beer brand. I don't know what else they're into. I just know these guys, either these guys are dumping money into it because it's cool, or they see a payday. Probably both. Or, do you see Barstool is at its peak and it's time for something new?
If I think of Barstool as just like a platform of eyeballs, then it's a really interesting idea that you can. I mean, this might be the new way to build sell things, right? Like you just build a platform of eyeballs, and then you tack on whatever high margin product you want to tack onto it, and then of course you can sell a bunch of them. I don't know too much about Barstool, but is it Portnoy? Didn't he buy it back for $1?
I mean, something like that. I don't know the story.
So is that indicative of like that platform not working? I guess I don't know enough, but I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, there's absolutely space for another one of those.
It's like the same play over and over. It's no different than a TV network. It's we're gonna gather, 2 million eyeballs, and then we're gonna sell ads.
Right. Right.
We talked about creating a TV show to sell your product. Like, I don't know what channel would be best for my product. Let's create a TV show to sell your product. If you think about it, Dr. Pimple Popper, could you think of a better place to sell a pharmaceutical drug for skin?
No.
Like, and
No.
then you think about it, the more focused the audience is, the higher the CPM, so you can charge even more money because it's such a focused audience. And let's do these, like, medical type of shows, and then now I'm going to give big pharma a place to advertise. I'm a Kia. Where do I go? Let's create a show around organization, and then we can advertise our closet spaces. And let's go create funny stuff online about beer and sports, and we can sell razor blades and who knows what else to dudes. Um, Same play, been going on forever. It's just I need to curate an audience, and the more focused that audience is, the more money I'm going to make by selling ads and sponsorships.
So that's like a really important lesson for the like the budding entrepreneur out there, which is that like the real key and the real differentiator between a business being successful and not is whether you can grab distribution. And if you build distribution before you think about product, then you've probably already won. And so I mean, it totally makes sense that smart people put money into this thing if they're already. I mean, if they're able to reach you, I think you're a hard customer to reach, especially for a beer product, right? Like, so if they can reach you with that and hold your attention for a few seconds, I think that they've already probably won.
And they're selling you beer.
Correct.
And you think of, like, on Barstool, they went into, this is a bunch of dudes, not all dudes, but a lot of dudes watching Barstool, and it's like, all right, sports betting, because they do a bulk of the sports betting. And, a lot of that stuff makes sense, and selling beer makes sense. Um, Although I wonder, like, DraftKings, I think, has a restaurant. I think, does Barstool have one too?
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's amazing.
I want to say DraftKings or Barstool, maybe they both. I always envisioned it like, I don't know if I'm guessing the place is probably like 92% dudes. Just not sure if it's my type of environment. Um, you know, I get it. But looking for a little bit different environment. But you kind of know what that audience is: sports betting, sports stuff, beer drinking. It's like, all right, now we curated an audience. Go. This is a perfect place for Gillette to sell their razors.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Great place to maybe sell Ford F-150 trucks.
Yeah. Yeah. You could
Just,
sell almost anything in that channel. I just
I mean,
men with money are just silly.
what could you sell? This, like, highly, it's probably like a 75-80% more audience of men in their late teens or probably early 40s. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and they'll do it over and over again. I'm sure there's someone else out there that's like Barstool and Friday Media that I've never heard of either, because I just heard of Friday Media. Interesting play. All you really got to do is build and curate an audience, and you can turn that audience into a business. It's like, like you said earlier about the distribution side. It's imagine doing a product first and you got no one to sell it to.
Right.
I mean, it's a hell of a grind trying to build followers and fans, and it's like, man, I'm going to build an audience, and then I want to find something to sell you people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talk about this a lot because of some of the businesses that we're trying to build right now. But if you've got one channel that's working, just continue to use it, right? And build new products and throw them into that channel, because building new channels is just it's so expensive and it's so hard. So yeah, I really like this now that I think about it.
It's so hard because there's so much content. It's nearly impossible. Like, you don't ever hear anything about anything going viral anymore for the most part. It's just there's too much content. You open up LinkedIn, you're obliterated with junk. You open up any TikTok, social media platform, you're just obliterated.
Yeah.
There's not enough time. Even if you follow people, there's not enough time to see all the stuff they're posting. If there is, you'd never get anything done. You'd never have a relationship. You wouldn't have a job. You would never go to the gym. Like there's just not you would do nothing if you consumed all the content that was created. Like I sent you a Bill Ackman podcast this morning. It's probably 3 hours. And that's just today.
Yeah.
Like I know you got an extra 3 hours just sitting around right now.
Yeah, right.
So to build, it's tough. But if you can get one going, then like, all right, now let's sell them some stuff.
Do you think that the Bud Light stuff plays into this slightly too in their choice of like selling beer?
How so?
I think I've got it in my mind here a chart of alcohol sales, and I think beer is actually on the way down and spirits is on the way up. So in terms of if you were going to choose the product that was at least on an upswing, you wouldn't choose beer actually, unless you felt like you could grab market share from the existing players. And I feel like the Bud Light stuff that happened, whatever it was, a year ago, 18 months ago, it might actually be sooner than that, left an opening for a brand that could cater to what we were talking about earlier, with like the 20 to 40, mid 40-year-old male who's looking for a different brand to attach themselves to. And if you can attach it to something like, I mean, Barstool, I imagine, has just millions and millions of people that engage with and enjoy that brand. If you can build something similar and just grab share from the others, that's not a bad way to do it. And I feel like there's an opening there.
I mean, there's definitely it's always an opening. I'm trying to think. Beer was down. Tequila moved up. Man, I want to say tequila might have even overtook whiskey. I want to say it was like vodka and tequila was like at the top of the route, and like whiskey was really big. Tequila's moving up. Beer's on its way down. I want to say wine was on the way down. Not 100% sure of that, but
No, I
if I
think you're
look
right.
at I think the audience, it's of all the things we're talking about right now, when you're 55 years old, what if you had to drink something? What do you think you're probably drinking?
Beer?
You're
Oh,
drinking
me, when
beer
I'm 55, no. Yeah, I'm probably drinking it like a gin and tonic.
or wine. Like,
Yeah, or a wine. Yep.
so you're probably not kicking back that Friday beer at 55. Not saying that people won't do it. Like where I grew up, all people did was pound Budweiser and MGD gold cans. But where the world's going right now, you still see the 20 somethings drinking beer, sporting events, tailgates. And Kane, they're not making cocktails and doing a bunch of. Oh, you see Fireball, I guess, at tailgates, but it's beer. It's a lot of beer, sports beer. So I can see where there's a certain type of beer drinker market that could be grabbed right now. Also, significantly easier to probably. I don't know if you ever saw the liquor laws. Liquor's a pain in the ass. All the different rules and regulations and shelf space. I mean, shelf space is an issue with beer too, but liquor's this whole other monster. Wine's its own. So if you had to create an alcoholic beverage, it seems like, all right, I'm gonna do beer and create this whole kind of fun environment around it. And I mean, we'll see if it works. The dude chugging the beers is pretty funny to me, but that shtick will get old at some point, right? I mean, you can only watch that so many times. It's pretty interesting anyways. Like you can literally build a whole beer brand around this dude.
Yeah.
And what do they do at like 5 or 6 different legs though? 5 or 6 different kind of products. Do they have their own sports book? I don't know. They same thing, we'll do a sports book, we'll do a bar, we'll sell the beer, we'll do the swag. Could you have your own like Friday media like cruise?
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Good note. Hotels?
Hotels, Vegas. Man, imagine what kind of hell on earth a cruise would be if it was just all like Barstool and Friday media people.
Oh, man.
Oh man, if I'm in a life raft, I'm getting out of here. Yeah, because it's always fun until it's not. And like once everyone's inebriated, then it's like this is maybe not fun anymore.
No, like I've got a story for that for another day. But my wife and I took a cruise when we were, call it 19 or 20 during spring break. Oh, it was horrific.
Well, now I'm curious. Like, was it like a carnival cruise,
It was
like a Viking cruise in Europe? Like, what was it?
no, it wasn't. It wasn't that classy. It was I think it was like we set off in New York and went down to Bermuda or something. Yeah, or Bahamas. Something I forget what it was exactly, but it was like a carnival. One of those. Maybe it was like a Norwegian one or something. But it was just horrific.
Did it make
It
you
was
never
horrific.
want to do a cruise again?
Almost.
That Ritz-Carlton cruise, the thing looks pretty cool. I don't know if you've ever seen that. I get the
Yeah,
advertisements.
you posted something the other day that was interesting.
It's kind of like cruise ship, but like luxury. That might be tolerable, but
I've heard that the European river ones are a different experience.
I heard those are cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. Once you're off like shore, are you allowed to drink when you're 19, or is it
Yeah,
still like you're
I
okay?
believe that's correct. Yeah.
I just for the hell of it. Anyways, it's only thing I learned in this whole thing was nothing's really changed. Curate an audience, sell them stuff, and that's like it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can try to create the product and try to get the audience, or you can create an audience and then sell them stuff. But it's like here it is again. Something just like Barstool. They got some investors that throw $6 million into it, and they'll make money just because they got eyeballs. They'll do funny content and then slide in promotions and products, and look at what Barstool did. He ended up, what was it, Penn something, whatever the hell the casino was, or sports book, and possibly bars, and like there's all these opportunities are created because you built a brand. How did they even build their brand, Barstool? Wasn't it just posting funny stuff? Like
I
I'm not
think
a
so.
big
Yeah.
follower of them. It's crazy what you can do. You built this brand name, and I think if you ask some people, what do some of these things even stand for? And they would just tell you like funny memes, maybe some swag. But you can parlay that brand equity into, restaurants, a sports book, a beer brand. Um, Nothing's changed. It's no different than what TV's done all these years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Let me throw you a question, James. Last question from me. But let's say that these guys are just average operators, right? Nothing special. If you put like Dave Portnoy in like special, um, like they're average. What's the roof on this thing? How big do you think this gets?
I mean, how big can a beer company get?
I mean, that's an interesting question. Like,
Like that's just one business line, right? I think there's a cap on how much money they're going to make from a podcast, or how much money they're going to make from social and
right.
sponsorships and all that stuff. I think the real play is when they start selling products. Like, well, all right, how can it be a $20 million brand, a $50 million brand, $100 million beer brand? Then what else? How the merchandise line. I mean, those can get big, but I think how big can they get? They usually A lot of those things usually have like a big, 12 to 18 month period where the thing's cool, and they'll sell a bunch of swag, and then it'll fade off. And you look at sustainable business line. Okay, the beer thing's cool. I'm guessing they would, if they're not into the sports book, they'll might eventually get there. So, could it be $1 billion company? Yeah. It's just what product lines are going to get them across the finish line. And
Yeah.
the other thing is like it's so hard to remain relevant and to stay cool. And a lot of the stuff is really this market force of fads. They come in style, everyone's all about it, and then it kind of fades off. And maybe that's what happened to Barstool. I don't know. Um, this is just the next thing, right? This is maybe if Barstool was MySpace, this is Facebook. I don't. Things come and go, and it's also like back down to like the content producing. If they can continue to produce great content, funny content, new series that keeps people engaged, it continues to grow. But like the sky's the limit is when the world thinks you're cool. But that eventually wears off, right?
Right, right. That was kind of where my question was going. Is beers? I feel like every okay, cool wears off. It always does. And so, independent of like the media side, beer is a eventually becomes a commodity, right? It's a price game. I think that's why Bud Light hangs out in Target shelves, for example. And so, in a declining market, in a game where it's price based, like you almost feel like if they don't expand outside of beer, then yeah, it might work for 5 years or whatever, but they've got to almost expand outside of beer.
You got your own restaurant, and I don't
Yeah, right,
your
right.
own bar that's a sports bar. Like, I don't do this. You got to do something,
Yeah.
or there's some other products you can sell. And um, I always laugh because it was a big thing around here, probably all over the country. I don't know, 2000, early 2000s up to maybe like 2015. I don't know, but there'd be these like new restaurants opening up. We got 500 beers on tap, and I'm like, that's cool. Can I just have a two-hearted? Like it's. I rarely. Everyone always had their favorite. No one went in. I'm not saying no one. You do a beer flight or something. That's kind of cool. But it's like every time I'd go out with someone, they always drink the same thing. They always drink no matter. Have 1,500 beers in here. No one cares. And now a lot of those places, like you don't see that anymore. Yeah, they might have like 20 or 30 on tap, but even then, it's not. It's not this like destination or cool thing anymore. And people like what they like. Can you make a Friday beer someone's favorite beer?
Right.
Um, I don't know. I've never had one. Like if it's not good, that's a whole other problem. Imagine you're building a beer brand of beer people don't like.
Yeah, right.
But they got the brand, they got the eyes. It's just they're gonna have to do something with it before the cool wears off.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
anyways, that's all I got for this one.
Right.
Yeah, I got you.